Hey everybody, it's Ray the Video Guy here, and if you've been looking at any of the stuff I've been talking about for the last couple of days, you may have noticed that I've been talking about a very specific thing when it comes to not only marketing, but specifically video marketing. And what I'm talking about is 360 video. In fact, if I had the right camera with me, we probably should do 360 while we're doing this, but maybe in one of the future videos, that's exactly what we'll do. But with me to talk about 360 video and the future of it and why it's so important for local marketers to jump on this right now is my good friend. Here he comes. Are we ready? There we go. Dan Cumberland. Woo! Dan, how are you?
Hey, Ray. Good to see you. I'm doing so well. Thank you so much for having me on.
No, I'm really excited. You know, this is a subject that probably about a year ago I did a radio show on where I talked about the next big things, and I talked about live video and 360 video being the next big things, and I think we could probably throw drones in there too. I think that's the third leg to this table that really is changing the way that we do local marketing. But while a lot of people are able to jump in, do that Facebook Live stuff and the YouTube Live and all that, and they can certainly buy drones and start running drones or hire people to do drones, 360 video is still kind of a mystery at this point in time. And we want to clear up some of the mystery about this because it can be very, very important to a local marketing business, especially with certain types of clients. So tell me a little bit about your history with 360 video and why you see this as such a big deal now.
Absolutely, absolutely. So my background, I have a background in photography specifically.
Oh, nice.
Got into to what I'm doing now through started there doing weddings and families and
me too, by the way.
Oh yeah, really? That's how we all get started. It's a little easier to get into than video. You know, like the editing is a little less time consuming than video. But then found my way into the JV space and working with Video ReMix. And so when it comes to 360 video specifically, what put it on my radar is really, I think it's all started with noticing the trend specifically around virtual reality and augmented reality, and that we're more and more bigger companies are investing in that space of bringing that that in-depth experience where it's right up there in your face. And wondering, so if this is where I see Facebook and Google and these big companies putting billions of dollars into this technology, how does that affect me, and how can I participate in that movement while it's still so new? It feels like a huge opportunity. So then we started just doing some research to figure out what is the opportunity, what are some of the stats at traditional video versus 360. You and your audience know so well just that video is such a hot thing. Like I'm preaching to the choir when I don't need to convince you that video is a good investment. But many of us just haven't spent much time thinking about and exploring the possibilities around 360 video. But like, I mean, I can give you some of the stats that people spend 4 times as long on a 360 video than on traditional video. And I think it's just because because it's so interactive. It just begs for you to click around and look around, see what's happening. The call to actions are also 4 times as effective when you have a call to action at the end of or embedded in a 360 video. Nice. And specifically, there's a lot of real estate is a big market for 360. I think really when it comes to 360, anything that you experience in person, it just does such a good job of conveying the in-person experience. But real estate specifically, there's a lot of stats around listings that like a buyer that's been through a 360 walkthrough it spends 5 weeks less. It's 5 week shorter sales cycle for that specific buyer. Wow. Which is super significant. And so that's the long and maybe rambling response. Just that I think to sum it up, what got us into 360 is just the opportunity and looking around and seeing there's not really many other platforms out there for marketers specifically to use 360 videos. So to specifically be able to import, edit, create call to actions and lower thirds and all the kinds of things to make a 360 video not only super engaging and interesting because it's 360 video, but also to drive the viewer to take the specific action that us as marketers that we're looking for that person to take.
Now let me ask you this, because this is kind of the elephant in the room when it comes to 360 video. And I'll tell you a great story. Last year, I used to live near Los Angeles, and I went to a show where they had a lot of different things going on, and there was a guy there. He had an amazing rig. He had, it was this giant ball with all these different cameras in it shooting in different directions. So it was 360, but it was very, very high-end 360. And I was talking to this guy, and I said, wow, I said, that's awesome. How do you like this? He goes, well, because it takes amazing video, but I have no idea what to do with it when I'm done, and it's a pain in the neck. And the funny thing is I actually bought a couple of 360 cameras, nothing special, just smaller, cheaper ones, and I took some 360 video, and when I was on my iPhone and I'm watching back the videos that I took, it's great, but then I couldn't do anything with it. And I even tried to upload it to YouTube, and with this particular camera, it was a big mess. It didn't look right, and I kind of gave up on it at least with those cameras. But things have obviously changed a ton in the last year or two. So how feasible is it for people to use 360 these days versus back then?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think that's a common experience, because you get these files onto your computer and you try to open them, and it's just like kind of like a panoramic, and everything's like bent and weird. And so yeah, it's come a long way, and it's continuing to come a long way. At the same time as companies like I mentioned, Facebook and Google are investing in 360, everyone else is as well. So platforms like YouTube are much more 360 friendly. Vimeo Pro is the platform that we encourage our users to use, specifically because their integration is superb. They're super mobile friendly. YouTube does host 360 video, and if you're not going to be adding any call to actions and those kinds of things, YouTube's a great place to host your 360 videos. But I think that's the biggest thing is just making sure that you put it into a player that can handle that specific, that supports that specific camera. And I think that's the biggest point of confusion that people find, is that they just don't know what to do with it, and it doesn't look right until it's weird, because it's different than normal video, where you can just hit play on your computer and see the video working. Once you get it into a 360 player, then you'll be off to the races. But as far as specific cameras, I don't want to get in too far into that, because that's there's a million cameras out there.
Yes, there
but
are.
just a quick bit of research, you should find what the compatibility is. But it's pretty high level compatibility at this point.
I know a lot of people are jumping on the Ricoh Thetas were really popular because they were very easy to work with and whatnot. And obviously, if you go into Best Buy, they've got that Sky 360 that they show off, which is not even 360, it's 180. But hey, who's counting, right? Actually, I think it's about 270. But so it's not true 360. So you got different types of things, but it works the same and does basically the same thing. But of course, in order to, you talked about the marketing side of it. So taking that 360 video, being able to use it in a way to get a call to action. Obviously in real estate, huge market for that. I mean, absolutely. I work with a real estate agent right now, and that was one of the first things she asked me was about shooting 360 video, because it's just a very, very popular format for them. They want to show it off. But car dealers, I know, are using these a lot. A lot of people in just everyday type businesses are putting these things in and doing videos in 360, even if it's just kind of a behind the scenes sort of deal. But now that we want to turn this into something that's marketing related, you guys, and by you guys I mean Video ReMix. If you don't know Video ReMix, guys who are watching this, tremendous company that have put out some amazing software that you need to check out if you haven't checked it out in the past. But now you've got a new product called Local360. Tell me about how that's going to change the way people use 360 video in business.
Yes, and I guess I should introduce myself at the beginning. I am the current CEO of Video Remix. So Video Remix is my baby, and we're doing everything we can to help marketers like you and your audience just grow your businesses and make sure you're well positioned for the next opportunity, which was what Local360 is all about. So what really motivated us to take this concept of 360 and turn it into an actual product was we put it in the hands of some beta testers and just said, let's see what kind of results we can get. And we did a webinar, and on that webinar we asked them, and we did this live, and we're hoping to do this on some of our other webinars we're going to be doing coming up. But we asked them to go ahead and just send out a 360 video to a business that maybe it's a business they know, maybe it's a connection they have through someone else, and ask that business owner if they would be interested in something similar. And the response rate was insane. By the end of that webinar, we had the very first one, we had 15 people who had businesses that were committed already.
Oh, wow.
to becoming one of their customers, and it quickly spiraled from there, because then after people got off the webinar, there's still people they were hearing back from, and just these success stories started pouring in. The response rate was just off the charts, which just told us, this isn't just a concept like, oh, maybe businesses are interested in this, maybe this has some legs, we think it's cool, but just to have that proof that just a simple example video can get a business owner that excited. And I think you hit on, real estate feels like the industry that has really latched on to the power of 360 the most. But I think any business that makes its money, that makes its income from an in-person experience, is going to be interested in the product because of the way that 360 conveys that experience. I think doctors' offices, to show like the customer experience of walking into a clean, well-kept waiting area and seeing the exam rooms and all of those kinds of things. You think about the kinds of anxieties that people have about going to a new doctor or maybe having a surgery or whatever it might be. And same with dentist's office, same with anything related to tourism. You think about tours, you think about architecture, you think about adventure tours, any of those kinds of things, helicopter tours, to be able to show someone, you could experience this, we could show you what this is like in person, but then to be able to show that in the 360 venue is just super valuable. And I mean, it goes on and on from there, but I think the real hook is just to think about, what are the businesses that make their money from an in-person experience? What are the things that people are paying for that you just have to see it to believe it, have to experience it to really feel it, and that's where 360 really excels.
Nice. And I could see interior design being a huge one for
Absolutely.
this. And even, one of the fun things that you can do is even doing interviews. For instance, let's say you're in a nice store, you're interviewing a store owner, and the person watching this video of the store owner can look around the store while they're talking and, kind of interact with that. It's a very different way of thinking of video, because it's not your traditional, traditionally in an interview, I might interview somebody and then cut away to different shots. And,
Yep.
Here's the dirty little secret, guys. Now that it's a lot easier to edit the videos, it makes your life of shooting videos 100 times easier too, if you shoot them yourselves.
Does.
You don't need to go out and shoot a store and then shoot B-roll and put it all together and edit it, because guess what? The interaction, what I like the B-roll is a shock. It's something that's used to get people's attention. Well, they've got your attention because you're moving around the screen. You just have to put your camera there, interview the person, and let the viewer be the one who takes the different shots. And you're done. Exactly. You don't have to do all that fancy editing anymore.
It's like they're making their own B-roll. And exactly. I think just like some of the value of live video that is less polished, people aren't expecting, just these clean cuts and cool transitions and stuff like that. 360 is very similar. You don't have to have the perfect shot. You don't have to have the perfect lighting, because people aren't expecting that. They're expecting it to look a little bit thrown together. That when you're interviewing a store owner, that if they look the other direction, they're going to see out a window, and it's not, you
Right.
know, maybe the perfect scene. So you don't have to set up like a whole room to be perfectly staged for an interview. And that's, I think, some of the beauty of it, because people really identify with that, and they know, like, yeah, if I was there at that business, this is what it would look like. This is what it would feel like.
So let's
that
talk a little
piece. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And even, you know, doing let's say, you know, I've got a studio right here with lights and everything else, but doing a 360 video for an interview and letting people just spin around and see the director and see the, you know, the lights and all that can be a lot of fun as well. So you can do a lot of cool things. But of course, we still have to take that video, we still have to edit that video and turn it into a marketing piece. So tell us a little bit about your product, Local360, how that works and what people can expect, you know, now that they're going to shoot video, what can they expect out of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're familiar with Video Remix, you'll be familiar with the basic concept, but it's just like any timeline-based video editor. So the first thing that you'll see is once you import your video, first you'll want to upload your video somewhere. So upload it. We recommend Vimeo Pro. Like I said, it's a little more mobile friendly, has better integrations. You can use YouTube, but YouTube's mobile experience with our platform is not as good. So Vimeo Pro is the way to go. So you upload your video to Vimeo Pro, then you pull it into our editor. It's a timeline-based editor. So if you've done any kind of you know, video editing, you'll be familiar with that. You'll see elements stacked on top of each other on the timeline, and you can move them around. And then you can pull in images, you can pull in call to actions, you can pull in links right there in the timeline, so that as someone's looking around in the 360 video, they'll see maybe you know, if it's a real estate tour, for example, and it takes you, the camera moves into the bathroom, and then you can have a pop-up that shows, you know, what kind of fancy shower head it has and how beautiful the granite countertops are, or whatever it might be. And then it can say, click here to you know, schedule your in-person tour, or click here to contact the real estate agent, and the like. So you can do all that quickly and easily in the editor, and then you can publish that to Facebook. You can have our Local 360 videos on Facebook with the interaction, with the live layers, and call to actions, or embed it anywhere, really anywhere online, any web page, or if you want to, you know, send out an email blast. Those videos are hosted in the cloud, so then you can just send a link straight to that video in the cloud, and people can see it all there. So it's really built with marketers in mind. We want to have a high emphasis on call to actions. Really wanted to make it as easy as possible for you to invite the viewer to take that action that you're trying to get them to take on behalf of your customer. So that's the high level overview.
Nice.
And like I said, what really got us excited about the platform was just the potential, how easy it is to sell. Honestly, how excited people see. You send a real estate video to a real estate agent, they see all the call to actions, they see all the feature call outs throughout a tour, and you say, hey, I'd like to make something like this for you. They get super excited about it. Same with dentists, same with, you know, with local businesses, and the list goes on and on.
Oh, absolutely. And that's fantastic. And the great thing about it is, you know, the fact that it is fairly easy to do. Now, I've only been playing with the software for about 2 days now. I got it on, you know, the time we're shooting this, probably about 3 days ago I got it. And I've only played with it a little bit, but I will be doing a big review of that and showing you exactly how my experience was using it. But great software, easy to use. Yeah. Now, let's talk about one other thing here, because we're talking about either local marketers, or there might actually be, you know, real estate agents watching this, or store owners watching this. Buying a camera, it's an expense, right?
Yes.
But of course, there's a great way. And by the way, you might be surprised, they're not as expensive as you think. We're not talking thousands of dollars. You can get a decent one for, you know, $100 to $300 for the most part. But obviously, there's a lot of people out there already that have cameras that you can hire. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct, and that is generally what we recommend, for two reasons. One, most marketers aren't that skilled in video, your audience excluded, because I know that your audiences are the ones who probably, you know, who might want to think about buying a camera themselves, because they have that skill set. But if you don't have that skill set, then you don't need to buy a camera. What you need to do is to find someone else to shoot that video for you. And so I was going to give you 2 points. I forget what those 2 points were, but the first is some people might not have the skill. Oh, that's what the other one is. The second is if you're planning on filming the video yourself, you're limited by your geographic location. And so although you might be a local marketer, I'm in Seattle, I might be a local marketer in Seattle, it's going to be much harder for me to expand my client base outside of Seattle. Whereas if I'm having someone else film that 360 video for me, then the opportunity is endless. I just have to be able to find someone who can do that for me, who has access to a 360 camera and can film it. So the process that we recommend is find some options. And then first, look for a lead, find someone who's interested, and then build that cost into your package that you're quoting to the potential client. And what you'll find is, you pay a flat fee to that contractor to film that 360 video, but then you get a recurring revenue to have this video live with your customer. And that's what we always recommend, is to build your packages so that your revenue is reoccurring with your customer. So then whether it's the cost of the camera that you're investing or the cost of the contractor, either way, that money is made up so quickly.
Nice. And the other great thing about this too is that if you're hiring somebody to do this, it's not going to cost what it used to cost, because they're not going in there for 3 hours and interviewing somebody and then shooting B-roll and then going outside. It can be done a lot quicker and easier, so it actually saves a little bit of money. And of course, as you do more and more of these, you can get people to do it, at a decent price because you're getting them in bulk and things like that. But just a great way to do it. And then, of course, you just follow exactly what you did. They put the video up there. You use the video, bring it into the program, and just go to town with it. So
exactly. And I think what you said, the expectation is that it's less polished, that it's not you're not having to take the time to edit something super spectacularly, and so the cost of having someone shoot it is much lower. So and that's something that we include in our training, is how to find those people, how to make that. We want to make it as easy as possible. If someone wants to build a business based on our platform, how they can build. We want to teach you to build that business without ever having to take your pajamas off.
Nice, I love it. So there you have it. That's kind of it in a nutshell. There, it's 360 is kind of the next step. A lot of businesses looking to do it. But now we've kind of tackled the two most difficult parts of it, which is the cameras, which are obviously have gotten a lot better, and now the ability to edit them and turn them into marketing pieces with the video remix platform on Local360. So, Dan, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate you taking the time. Is there any last words you want to say to everybody before we close this out?
I just want to say, thanks for watching. It's great to have the opportunity to just to connect with you and connect with you, Ray. And something I'd love to do something special for your audience as you're thinking about any of you out there who are thinking about jumping in when we launch. We launch on Wednesday of this week at 11 a.m. Eastern, and I'm sure Ray will be sending on plenty of information regarding that. But what I'd like to do, Ray, if it's okay with you, is to put together a couple templates that are just kind of some premium templates that they're not included in anything else. Oh, cool. But just specifically for you and your audience, just as a way of saying thanks so much for having me on here, and just to give just a little extra bonus value. So if that's, as long as that's okay with you, I'll send along some links.
Yeah, I think I'm okay with that.
That's great. That's great. So I'll send along some links to you, Ray, so that when people purchase through your link, then you can hook them up. Oh,
that's wonderful.
So thank you so much.
No, thank you. And of course, as you're watching this, if you're getting excited about 360 video, you really should be, because it is one of the great things coming and growing very quickly in the video marketing arena. And with the lowered price of cameras, the ease of use, and now the ability to create marketing pieces out of it, editing, distribution, this is just a tremendous opportunity. And of course, with the extra templates, that's a fantastic thing. So if you're ready for 360, and you should be, then as he said, what'd you say, Thursday, correct?
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday.
11. Yep.
See, I don't even know what day
Wednesday
it is
the
anymore.
7th. Yeah. that's
So
all right.
Wednesday the 7th at 11 a.m.
Yes.
It's going to be Local360. And again, you're going to get the software that's going to help you to use your 360 camera, but it's also going to be training that's going to help you to not only learn the software, but also to help you to be able to turn that into a business where you can help other local businesses or your own local business to be able to grow and use this as a great marketing piece. So as he said, we've got some extra bonuses for you. And of course, we've put together a great bonus package, and you can check those out. Well, I'll say below this video. You may see this before we put that up, but you know, if this is on the page afterwards, then you'll see it down below. You'll be able to check out some of the bonuses we have. And with that, I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.
Thanks so much.